Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. I've personally lost over 100 pounds. I've helped my hometown lose over 35,000 pounds, and now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by helping you gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And my friends, the perfect time to start taking action is now. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 187, Changing Your Mindset About Aging, with my friend Maarten Van Nus. Now, before we dive into that, I'm getting ready to release the Kraken once again, open the floodgates, flip the switch, and this Thursday, we're opening up registration for our November Transformation Reboot group. Stay tuned after the episode to get more details. Now, back to this episode, because as we all know, as the years go by, like I just turned 38, getting old. 38 years young, though. That's how I feel mentally. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in this episode. But as the years go by, I think it's easy for all of us to get in our head about that number, and what that represents. And I hear things all the time like, oh, Adam, I'm too old for that. Or people my age don't do that, Adam. Or things like, my best years are behind me. And, what kind of mindset is that anyway? Let's get rid of that mindset. But I know these conversations happen, right? No matter what age you're at, these stereotypes exist. So today, I'm bringing in my friend Maarten Van Nus to provide a change in perspective for us. Now, in 2010, Maarten founded BoomerBody with a mission to provide exercise, health, and lifestyle advice specifically for people of the boomer generation. Now, since 1975, he's helped countless men and women regain strength, flexibility, and heal painful conditions that doctors said were permanent. So it's super cool what he's doing. We dive pretty deep on that in this episode. And just by the way, even if you're not of the boomer generation, you're going to get a lot out of this episode because we're all aging and we all start to have that aging conversation in our mind. So stay with me. Now, in this episode, Maarten and I discuss some key topics. We talk about what sparked his interest in health and fitness and why he did ultimately decide to focus on the baby boomer generation. We talk about what mistakes he thinks most of us are making that are not allowing us to be as fit as we could be as we grow older. We talk about some of the mindset shifts that he suggests that boomers need to make in order to achieve a higher level of health and fitness. And then we dive into some of the foundational principles that he thinks boomers need to make sure they're incorporating into their nutrition and fitness routines, and a whole lot more. We really got deep. I feel like we covered so much in this episode. I know you're going to love it. Maarten is a cool ass dude. All right, you're going to love him. And so without further ado, let's dive in. Episode number 187, Changing Your Mindset About Aging, with my main man, Maarten Van Nus. All right, Maarten, welcome to the Million Pound Mission. How are you doing today, my friend?
Good, Adam. How are you, man?
I'm fired
doing great,
up.
Man.
I'm fired up.
This is gonna be fun, man.
We got connected by our mutual friend Dov Barron, and this is a fitness match made in heaven, I believe. Our energy and our message aligns really nicely, and I'm psyched to just dive into everything that you're about. And I always, when I get a hold of a fitness entrepreneur, especially somebody that's as experienced as you are, I love to hear what started it all, because everybody has that background story, that moment of that spark that ignites that passion behind our fitness journey. So what did that look like for you, Maarten?
Well, I don't know as much of a spark as much as a bullying. It really was. It was just a bullying. I remember sitting in my bedroom reading those old Georgia Atlas things, so, the bully on the beach and everything. And growing up where I grew, there was no real gyms. And by the time I hit about 17, so it was about 1974, I staggered into this little tiny gym in the back of this little thing. And Adam, I walked in, I hit the floor, I lifted my first weight, and I went, you know what? I love this. And then I just started training. And then the first time it really clicked with me is years later when I developed my own way of doing things and this and that, and I helped somebody and I saw it in their eyes. I saw it click in their eyes that they could be healthier, that they could live a better life, that they could lose the weight, that they didn't have to be what society said they were going to be at that age and go. That's when it really clicked. Then I went, I could help a lot of people doing this. And that's when the spark really hit. It was like, this is fun. Yeah.
And that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I always talk about how it's a different picture from somebody that can get themselves in shape compared to somebody that can get themselves in shape and then transfer that knowledge to another person and help them.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done. And you're somebody that really focuses on the baby boomer generation. So what made you passionate about helping boomers, and why did you decide to focus on that demographic?
Because I am a boomer. What really got me is I remember once, what happened really is I had a hip replacement. Okay, 'cause it was a car accident thing. I had a hip replacement, and I remember at some point I went, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And I walked out of the gym, and when I walked out of the gym, they went, you're going to be back. At that time, I've been training like 25, 30 years. And I walked out, and I started walking around and looking at people my age, and I saw them, and I went, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, overweight, tired, this, that. And I go, there's something really wrong here. There's something wrong with the way society has made it. There's something wrong with how we think we age. There's something wrong with everything about all those biomarkers that our generation, my generation as boomers, took as written in stone, because we looked at doctors like they were gods, and they said, this happens at this year, you lose this, and people sucked into it to the point that they wrote their own prophecies. And I went, this is wrong. So I went back to the gym, and I devised a thing called MUST training, motor unit stimulation technique, which I could transfer to older people so they could use lighter weight, build really fast functional muscle, and change a whole identity. And what I found when I started doing that with boomers, that not only were they building muscle, but as they went along, as you lose weight, as you go along, your identity starts to change. Yep. And when you start to look at yourself different, you start to also have a belief of what you can do is different. You look at the way you age differently. All of a sudden, not only you're getting in better shape in your body, but you're getting better shape in your mind. And all of a sudden, you're starting to lose all those old, ridiculously, excuse my language, BS beliefs about what aging is. And once you click that, then it started to happen. So that's why I really get into those, because I've always rallied against what they said about aging. I've always rallied against it.
So let's build on that a little bit. What are the, obviously we're all aging currently.
Yeah. You can't stop your. Okay, let's look at the three way we age then first. Well, let's break it down to three. There's what you're just talking about there is we age. Most people look at the way of aging as the chronologic aging. So 1 year against 1 year goes to 1 year goes to 1 year. And again, going back into my generation, the boomer generation, they believe that to the point that when the biomarkers at 40 years old, you'll lose testosterone. At 40, you lose TH. Blah blah blah. Up and it goes. And they bought into it. They bought into it hook, line, and sinker. So they started just believing into it. So, of course, if your body will always listen to your mind to your body will always go where your mind goes. So if it tells you it's doing these things. So that's the worst way of aging is chronologic. And next thing you have the physiological way of aging, which means what you do with your body, what you put into your body, how you exercise, what you eat, and all those things. You can actually roll back the chronologic number on aging. Then you have the most fun one, and that's the psychological aging. Yep. This is where you get to play, okay? This is where you really get to play. You get to envision what you want to be. You get to envision how you want to feel. You get to envision your age. You get to really roll it back. Now, the quick pro quo with all that is that if you're doing like the physiological, and you're doing your exercise, you're eating, you're on your diet, you're doing all the things, just like, God, I hate the word diet. Oh, I hate that word. You ever looked at the word diet? The first three letters, D-I-E, die. So you're doing your proper food regimen and you're exercising, but yet still in your mind, you're thinking, this age, I'm that, I'm supposed to not be able to do this because my doctor said you can't do that anymore, blah, 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 blah. You're going to roll it back still. If you're doing the psychological one, I'm feeling great, but you're not exercising, you're eating garbage food, you're going to roll it back as well. But if you combine the last two together, you combine the exercise with the proper food, the proper nutrition, and the mindset, and then, my friend Adam, you can roll it back. You can roll back years and years and years. I don't care where you start from. You can start to roll everything back.
I'm sure that's given a lot of my listeners hope right there. Just the fact that you can approach and mentally think about aging in those three different ways. So let's I guess start with the current mistakes that you're seeing. Let's try to fix those first. Like, how are we messing up our bodies and our mindsets? What is screwing us up to where it's making us feel and operate and look and think older than we actually are?
Well, I mean, you have nurture and nature, right? Your nurture is all the way you're thinking. Again, going to the boomers, if I go out in the street right now and line up 10 boomers, like guys my age, late 50s into the 60s, and ask them, is it okay to exercise? I'll guarantee you 85% say, no, I'm not supposed to exercise at this age, or I'm not supposed to lift weights at this age. I'm not supposed to go to the gym at this age, or my doctor told me I shouldn't exercise. I'm too old. Oh, and I start to scream, are you insane? And I try to tell them, I mean, Tufts University went into an old folks home, and they took bedridden people, and they gave them tiny weights. And these are people who are bedridden, couldn't dress themselves, couldn't get to the bathroom themselves, and tiny weights. Within 6 months, there was a 300% increase in muscle mass. Now, 300% increase in muscle mass, you think, that's very minimal when you're talking completely atrophied bodies. But these people at the end of that could actually get up out of bed. They could go to the bathroom themselves. The youngest was 93. The oldest was 96. So what they proved was, and what I've been telling people for the last 30, 40 years, it doesn't matter how old you are. It does not matter what condition you're in. The body wants to be healthy. It can't consciously lift that weight. It can't consciously put that right food in its body. It can't consciously. It just lies in wait for you to wake up, realize that you can do these things, give it a chance, and watch what happens. To all your listeners out there that are getting older and older and are thinking, well, I don't know if I'm past that age. There is no finish line in this thing. There is no finish line. There is no time when the body just goes, that's it, I'm done, unless you've got some brutal disease. And yet all disease is really just cellular problems. It's just the body's toxicity in the problems, unless you got a bullet to the head or you got hit by a car or something like that. All those old diseases and all those old biomarkers are just toxicity in the body. Your body wants to be clean. Your body wants nothing more than to be healthy. It was given to you to be healthy. It was the most important gift in your life. And people gave up on it. And that's the problem. The biggest problem I see with boomer body generation is they gave up because they believed what society said, that at a certain age they can't do something anymore. And they gave up. And once the mind says, okay, well, that's it, it's over, the body listens and goes, okay, well, we just comply to what you said. Instead of turning it around, and going, no, this was all BS. They didn't know. They had no idea what we know today. It's all changed. And that you can keep going. And look what's happening. Adam, come on, look what's happening out there. You see it all the time, more and more. Centurions, you see a 100-year-old guy doing this. And you see it more. And every time I see that, I think, well, people, doesn't this validate to you that we can do this? There's people breaking the barriers every day now, instead of just crawling up and dying. It doesn't have to be that way, people. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be overweight. You don't have to be tired. You don't have to be slogging through life. You don't have to. You just have to change. You have to change how you think. You have to change how you look at yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself, and then do the conscious things your body wants, which is taking in the right nutrients and exercising and moving.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit. If you got a hold of a boomer and they're like, Maarten, I need help, and you are going to lay out their foundational plan for fitness, nutrition, mindset, what are some of the core pillars that you're like, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this? What are the foundations that you need to put in place?
So, give me a parameter of how badly off are they?
Let's say just the average American.
The average American is like 50, 60 pounds overweight. He's got a sore back, sore knees.
Yes.
Doesn't think he has the energy to do anything. Right. Excuse my language, can't get it up. Okay, I'm serious. I mean, this is an important thing. I mean, a healthy sexual thing is a healthy body. I mean, you want to tag males right away. Say, I'll tell you how to get it up without a pill. So, okay, you take a man like that. First thing you do is you have to sit down and say, well, tell me about yourself. First, I get them always to tell me a story about themselves. And within that story, I always hear how they feel about themselves, how they think about themselves. And I start to change things again, and I start to question them. I say, well, why do you think that? And I get their minds wrapped around that questioning themselves was all wrong. Then we sit down, of course, we lay out a nutrition plan, and nutrition is something very important. It's usually important. Start cutting out all the bad foods, all the processed foods, no microwave foods, no this, no that. Cut away all the liquids they drink except for water. I shut down everything except for water, and nothing but clean food, clean eating. Then we mildly get them exercising so we don't push them over the top too fast. Because can I touch on that for a second?
Yeah.
Because And to the people out there, when you see these advertisements, first you see these advertisements, these garbage advertisements that you can do it in 2 seconds. It's not going to happen, okay? And what really irks me most about those things, and what irks me most about some of these programs, workout programs that are out there that are too hard, too fast, and these things is not only do they hurt them, but what they do is they put this seed back in their mind saying, well, I guess I just can't do it. And that's the hardest thing. When I see people going, I don't want to mention products because I don't want to do that on your show, but there's some products out there, they sell them that they're ridiculously hard. I mean, for you and me, no problem. Okay, right. I can dive in there. But you get some guy sitting on his couch on his computer going, whoa, look at the bodies on from this thing. Oh, I'm sending it away. He hasn't worked out ever. He's 70 pounds overweight. He clicks this thing in his computer and tries to follow along and hurts himself. Not only does he physically hurt himself, and that can heal, but what doesn't heal is the mental fact that he says, I guess it isn't for me. I guess the doctors are right. I shouldn't exercise. And then as soon as he says that, it's over. It's over. And he's not going to try anything on it. Even when someone as intelligent as you or I or Dove comes along and says, listen, it's taken you a lifetime to get that way. If we just do something casual and slowly bring you along, you'll be fine. And not only will it happen, as we spoke earlier in the show, your mindset will change that, yes, I can do this. You just take little steps. Wow, I could do that. I never thought I'd be able to do that, but I did. Now, as soon as that happens, then the next thing comes. And what I do with clients is I get them to that level, and then I go, watch this. This is what you're going to be able to do in 6 months. And I'll do something on the floor that's just a little over the top of what they can do. And they go, I'll never be able to do that. And I go, I guarantee you, you'll be able to do that in like whatever time, 2-3 months. And when they do that, I go back and say, see, you said you couldn't do it. You can do it. And the look in their eyes go, oh, I can do this. Then the next time is a lot. And then next time, and next time, and next time. And then pretty soon they're like, I can do this. But if they jump in way too fast, way too hard, it ruins the psyche and it's over. So that's one of the things. So it's nutrition, sustainable exercise, and that's the biggest word here, sustainability. Yep. It's not going to happen overnight. It's sustainable. The one lady I told you off show, she started at 430 pounds. We took her down to 185 pounds. That was a 2.5-3 year stint. That didn't happen in 6 months.
Right.
That didn't happen. This was a woman that walking up 2-3 stairs was a workout. Her first workout was sitting on a ball, rolling around like doing a little hula dance for 20 minutes. And that was it. Go home. And that was it. At the end of it, I wish I could throw up videos. I've got videos of her and me boxing. So she went from 430. And what happened was the change in her psyche was like, wow, I don't have to be this heavy. And then we had to find out why she had food. And that's the other biggest thing. For people that are not just slightly overweight, but people that are obese, then we go into the psyche part, like, what is food to you? And don't tell me you're just addicted to the food. What is it, the food that represents that you just keep sabotaging and going back to? What is sabotaging you? Why is it every time you get to a certain point you sabotage? And people ask themselves all the time, well, why does this always happen? I get to a certain point and I sabotage. I get to a certain point and sabotage. That's when you have to delve in deep. That's when you have to really go. That's when the dove comes in and go, we have to delve in deep and find out why. What's going on in your psyche that makes you want to sabotage? What are you addicted to? What emotionally thing to the food or whatever it is, your lifestyle, are you addicted to that you are not unwilling to give up, that you sabotage and go back to, even though you don't like it? So there's all those components. But when you hit all of them, you hit the nutritional part of it, the proper sustainable exercise part of it, the proper mental picture of it, the mental what's going on in there. Once you get all those 4 core elements together, there's no stopping you. There's absolutely no stopping you.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. I preach on those topics all the time. So my audience knows that we're vibing. I can guarantee they're like pumping their fists, like, Adam loves this guy already. when you reemphasize the things that I already am preaching, that's always awesome. Now, as a coach, where do you see, like, what's the hardest part as a coach as far as the connection to get people to comply with? Is it the fitness, nutrition, the mental aspect? Where do you feel like, oh man, I wish people would just buy in a little bit quicker than what they do?
The mental aspect. Mental aspect. Yeah. Because everybody goes, everybody's been taught. They know consciously. Okay, they know consciously. I need to eat right. I need to exercise. They take those two things, right? It's the hardest thing for them to buy into is, why are you addicted to the lifestyle you're leading? And they go, what are you talking about? I go, you're addicted to something in there. Like, again, back to the lady again. And she'll be fine because she wants to write a book about it. So the reason she kept sabotaging her eating is she was having an addiction that she wanted to be this certain person that was a really heavy person that people seemed to like as she was growing up, and she wasn't very well liked. So she took on her persona. So she just kept eating, trying to think that way. And I mean, it sounds to a lot of people that think, well, that's ridiculous. That sounds silly. But to her, it wasn't. I mean, when we hit on that, the tears just started screaming. And until you've been there and until you've seen it work, or if someone of your audience has experienced it, to have that breakthrough and go, that's why I eat. That is what. And then what do we do in society? We call it comfort food. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why. And when they hit that and they go, oh, that's it, and something you can tell it clicks, that's when. But that's the hardest thing for getting them to wrap their head around, because they don't know that how the addictions of the body work.
Right.
Emotional addictions to these things, and all the addictions to lifestyles, and how the cellulars are addicted to all these different things, and they can't grasp it because they think addictions like cocaine, heroin, alcohol, and they don't realize that they can be emotionally addicted to something that's destroying them, and they don't even know it because it's cellular, and they don't even know what's going on. It's rolling in the background, and they have no idea. That's the hardest thing to get them around.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that as well. It seems like you said, people are just marketed the fact that you need to change your diet, you need to change your exercise program, and you should do my special diet, my special exercise program. And that nobody's like, I've got a program where you need to fix your brain first and how you're thinking about things. Because everybody's like, well, what's that even going to do? Like, sit and think about it? So it's an unsexy thing to think about, but it really is where it all starts.
It's not marketable. It's not marketable. But it's like what I always tell my clients when I first talk to them. I says, your body will never go where your mind hasn't been. It will not go where your mind hasn't been. If your mind's still buried in the past, if your mind is still walking around saying, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm uncoordinated, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. I had another client when I first started with her. It's hilarious. When I first started with her, she goes, first thing she says to me right away, she says, I'll tell you right now, I'm not athletic and I'm totally uncoordinated. So I look at her and go, why are you missing muscles the rest of us don't have? And so I said, okay, well, we'll just start working. And I do little things. I go, you'll do this. She goes, I'll never be able to do that. That's no. And we started working. And then we finally started working with her. Okay, are you open to me talking about this, why it's that way? And she goes, yeah. So it turned out we found out way back, and she looked up at a teacher who was a gym teacher one day, and she really looked and respected her. And the gym teacher told her that you're uncoordinated. You should just sit down because you're never going to amount to anything athletically, blah, 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 blah. And she took that on. And when we figured that out, so whenever we do an exercise, I won't say the teacher's name, but we used to say, what?
Yeah.
and then pretty soon she's doing these crazy moves on the floor, standing on one foot, this, that. And she just looked at me. I go, you've always been coordinated. Everybody's been coordinated. You have the muscles. I have the muscles. It's just how you develop that and how mentally you develop that growing up. So again, to your audience, these little stories and things like this, just to reaffirm that maybe somebody told you something way back when, and you didn't even know it. You just took it. They told you, and you buried it into your little psyche there, and it dropped in there, and you believed it. That's the biggest thing. And you believed it for a second. Your brain went, okay, that's that. And you have to find those little niches and those little gold nuggets and get rid of them. And that's when, and you know yourself. I mean, you've done it yourself. You've lost a ton of weight. Congratulations. You did amazing. And what you've done, and you have to be honest with me, I'm going to go on a limb here, your identity about yourself and how you look at yourself must be completely different now than what it was then.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. How you talk to yourself, how you look at yourself, what you think you can accomplish, what you can think you do. And identity, I mean, Time Magazine came out, 10, 12 years ago or something like that. I think it was Time Magazine had this big article going, the longevity of losing weight and exercising is identity. And I'm going, yeah, no kidding. I'm looking at this magazine going, I've been yelling that, I've been screaming that for decades. But they confirmed it. They said, the longevity of being in shape is not only food and exercise, that's a short-term Band-Aid, is to change your identity, to change how you think and look at yourself. And that's when it starts to happen.
So I've got another circumstance that I want to bring up along that line of identity, especially with the boomers. I have a few clients that this has come up with where we get them going, we build initial momentum, and we hit big goals, and they struggle a little bit with the thought of like quote unquote maintenance and or setting another big goal, because that whole longevity thing of they don't really know what they're capable of. It's just, and they think, well, I'm getting older. I might like die soon. Like these are thoughts that are like going through. They tell me these things.
But those are the thoughts. Those are the thoughts that those biomarkers from what society said that was going to happen. Do you see what I'm saying now? Right. You've witnessed it firsthand that these people bought it hook, line, and sinker. They sat down. I mean, it was the old thing like when someone would retire for work, they call it retirement death. Because doctors say, oh, well, you retire from work, blah, blah, you have nothing to do, you're going to sit and you're going to die, blah, blah. And they do it. It was actually called retirement death. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah, retirement death. So, so you've seen it. You've seen it actually when you look in their eyes, and their belief is so strong that's have to break away that belief and say, no, that's ridiculous. You're not going to die. You're not going to die.
Right.
The healthier you get, the longer you're going to live.
Exactly.
And I always tell, I've got a lot of very wealthy clients too. And I look at them and I go, you have all this money and you have all this, and you haven't taken care of the one thing that was more precious than anything you could own, and you have all of this wealth and you don't want to get healthy to enjoy it. You're going to sit some rocking chair in a back porch watching your life go by. Yep. I just look at them, I shake my head, I go, you've got it all. Like, just get healthy. You could enjoy the next 30, 40 years of traveling, doing whatever you want to do with the amount of money you have, but you can't do it in an unhealthy body. Yep. I mean, you were given this gift at birth. This amazing, amazing gift at birth to do with what you want. It's yours. It was free. I mean, there's nothing more precious in the world. And what have you done with it? And this is, and I've always, I don't know, can we go religious here?
It's all fair game here, brother.
Oh, yeah, okay, it's all fair game. I've always wanted to stand in a church. I've always wanted to walk in a church and stand there and go, you believe God gave you a body. I actually did a podcast on this, not a podcast, but a blog on this. I said, you talk of religion and you say that God created your body. You absolutely 100% believe that God bestowed this gift to your body, and what have you done with it? I mean, if one of your relatives or something gave you a gift, you'd shine it up and put it on the mantle. People would come home. You go, oh my God, this came from you. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? And yet this gift, this amazing gift that was given to you at birth by who you say is your creator, and look what you've done to it. You treat it like a garbage dump. You abuse it, you treat it like garbage, and it's the most unbelievable thing you'll ever possess, and look what you've done to it. And people walk around in their bodies 24/7, 365 days a year, and they don't even know what it does. It's just, I'm sorry, I start getting a rant on those things. I go, look what you've given. I mean, we should all be healthy. There's no reason in the world why we shouldn't be all be healthy. But the food out there now, and environment, and the smog, and this, and you're up here battles every day, but you can still take care of yourself, mate. You can still take care of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned business people. I see so many successful business people, just like you said, the exact same example, where they would never go a month without looking at their business numbers and think about what could put them out of their business. Well, what's going to put your body out of business? We have to think along those lines. So
sure,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Now, you mentioned something that I find very interesting, and I want to dive a little bit deeper on. We're taking a little bit of a pivot, but I can't let you go without asking you about the MUST system, the
MUST system, motor unit stimulation technique.
Yes. Tell us what this is all about, because this is really interesting to me.
It's called motor unit stimulation technique. Now, I know stimulation is a mashup of two words, right? And stimulate and utilize. Motor units are put in your body, billions of motor units all through your body, motor to go into the Z plate of the muscle to make it work. What's happening, what I found with a lot of exercises is, and some people will call this, isolation training. This is so far past isolation training, is that when you're doing an exercise, the body recruits motor units from everywhere because it has no idea what you're doing. It's just moving a resistance from one place to another. And what I've done is I've come up with a way how to move your hands, move your fingers, twist your wrists, this and everything, to take all those motor units and put it into the target muscle and the target muscle alone. The reason this works really, 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 really good for boomers, it works for everybody. Everybody's done it. I've taken guys to semi-pro training into bodybuilding with this, and they all just go, oh, this is insane. Why it really works for boomers is because you can use light weight. You can use really light weight and isolate. I mean, and I hate to use the word isolate because I've done it with people and they go, this is so far past isolation. But they do it so you can take a boomer that's never really worked out, or someone who's older, and it's less power on the joints. There's very, very less pressure on the joints. So the ideas behind muscle training are a couple things. Number one is the first half inch of each exercise is the most important. This is when the brain and the body connect, and the body tells the brain, this is where I need the motor units. The brain says, okay, this is where we're sending them. So that's the most important. The second thing I always tell people, there's no such thing as push, only pull. There's no pushing exercises at all. You think you're pushing. Externally, on the outside world, the weight is moving away from you. But internally, where everything counts, your body's always pulling. Everything's a pulley inside your body. Your body is pulling from distal back to origin, distal back to origin. No matter what you're doing, your body is inside pulling. And let's face it, it's internally what we're talking. I don't care about externally. The weight's moving away from you. That's got nothing to do with what's going on in your body. Your body's internally. So little things like that. Loose grips, never gripping anything. That's what Dove wanted to call it the loose grip training. So this is something that Dove and I have been doing for like the last 10 years. I've been playing with it, I think, almost 15 years now. It's not something like Dove likes to say, you sat on the toilet one day and went, oh, hey, that would work. This was just like over and over training. But what it is it's called motor unit stimulation technique, and it's completely different way of training. Men's Essential magazine did about an 8-page article on me on it. It really, really, really works. I wish I was down in your area. I'd take you to the gym. We'd go for a workout. Yeah. It's a whole different way of training with weights. People that look at me when I'm training, they're kind of like, that's lightweight, la 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 la. But then when they try it, they're like, wow, like everything just pops. And I always say to guys, they all go, well, you're not that strong. And I go, okay, well, let's take biceps you do a bicep curl with a 45-pound dumbbell. I do it with a 20. You think you're stronger. But when I watch you doing bicep curl, your forearm, your shoulder, your back, your hips, just swinging it up there. Try it my way with a 20 and see if you can actually even pull it. Now, who's got the stronger bicep? Not that all over. So that's really what I came in with Boomers. And when I said earlier in the show, when I left and I said there's got to be a better way, this is one of the better ways it came with. It says, how can they get back into the gym, do resistance training without throwing stuff around and hurting themselves, using lightweight, isolating muscles so the muscle goes full range of motion and muscle rolls exactly the way it's supposed to meant to be and how it works, and protecting all the joints, yet building functional, and that's the biggest thing, is functional, strong, lean muscle. Because once you have strong, lean, functional muscle, you also lose weight. You're burning calories 24/7. It doesn't stop. It's like a furnace. So that's why I came up with the must. That's why I kept working on it. And really that all came from when I had the hip replacement.
Interesting.
All of a sudden, it's like there's got to be a different way because I can't throw heavy stuff anymore. So it's got to be a different way. So it really does work. Really, really, really. I have to. This is the one thing I'll give myself a pat on the back for. It really, Adam. It really, really works. And there's not one person, young and old, from 18-year-old headbangers to older people that have tried it that haven't went, wow, this really works.
That's awesome.
It's complicated. It's not easy to learn. You got to relearn everything with dumbbell work. You're like, what? I got to move my finger here. I got to roll my what? But once you get it, it works amazing. It works amazing.
Now, do you have any resources out there that I can link up with this episode that people could see, like videos or anything like that?
Well, there's a couple videos from Men's Essential magazine with me doing it. Okay. If you went into BoomerBody.ca and you went into the blog section, if you go down through the blogs, there's Men's Essential blogs. You click on that and it'll show the articles. And I think there's a few videos of me in there demonstrating it in there. Yeah, we're still putting the videos together for all of it. And what I want to do is I want to videotape every exercise, every dumbbell exercise, everything, and then all core, and then blend them all together. So, and it's a little tougher because I have to do a voiceover on it.
Yeah.
So I do voiceovers because I can't talk about while I'm doing it because there's too much going on, right? It's really, just doing a dumbbell curl, your hands turn, your finger rolls. Now your finger rolls up, your thumb moves over here, blah, 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 and it's coming up. So, but they can go into Men's Essential magazine on there, and it'll have the article is called Train Smarter. Yeah, Train Smarter. It was written by one of the guys that writes for Muscle Mag.
Cool.
Yeah, out of Texas. Yeah, he phoned me up. It was supposed to be a 5-minute conversation about this article, and we ended up talking almost 2 hours on the phone. And he said, he goes, okay, he says, we got to write this. He says, and then I got a call from the editor of Men's Essential magazine. He says, okay, the article's done. I thought it was going to be a little blurb. It was 8 pages.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the article starts out something like, we've been searching for a guy like this forever. We found him in no less Surrey, BC, Canada. And then it goes on to talk about it. And it's got the videos. Yeah, so it works really well. It really does. Everybody who tried it or have talked about it or read about it, the president of Quest, Quest bars and all that. Do you know Quest health bars?
Yeah, Quest Nutrition. Yep.
Yeah, Quest Nutrition. He phoned the editor and told him, wow, this guy's onto something here. He says, I've never heard of this. I've never seen anything like it, but this guy's really onto something here.
That's awesome.
So so it really works. And what we'll do, Adam, when we're off air, when I get some video sent up, I'll send you some personally down to you, and you can give them a shot.
Excellent. Oh yeah. I'll do that, and I'll do a little split screen, and I'll put it up on my Instagram. That way we can show some people some examples. So
that's
because I know people are going to want to try this for sure. Now you mentioned the website. What are the other best ways for people to get in touch with you and just dive into your information? Because obviously you have so much experience. You've got. I mean, we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg here, Martin. So how do we dive deeper?
Well, you can go into BoomerBody.ca. There's my book in there, Help, I'm Being Held Prisoner by My Couch. That's I love that title. People want that title. That's the title I want. They went, you should just have a thing like 10 exercises to help you. I go, why? Then I look like another generic book on a might well put it on a rack at the grocery store. I say, no, I want this. This is to help people exactly as what we've been talking about. Help people not only with exercise, with nutrition, but the bulk of the book is the mindset. The bulk of the book is how do I get back into the gym, or if I've never been into the gym, how do I going into a gym, gym etiquette, how do I feel like when I walk in there, I'm not going to feel like I'm lost, all sorts of things like that. So the book is called Help, I'm Being Held Prisoner by My Couch. You can get on an ebook. That's there. And there's all sorts of blogs that are right there. They can get a hold of me there at BoomerBody, contact at BoomerBody. They can get a hold of me there, yeah.
Excellent. Now, I love to leave my audience in action. So we've obviously entertained them. We've given them great information. But what would be one simple action step that, let's say a boomer is listening to this, they're kind of trapped in that mindset of I'm old, I'm not supposed to be going to the gym, and they but now they've heard you and they're ready to make a change. What's just an initial action step that they can take in the next 24 hours to just start shifting momentum?
Start changing, use those 2 most powerful words in the English language, I am. Start saying, I am capable of this. I am athletic. I am going to the gym. I am my ideal weight. I am strong. I am my body. I am in control of my body. I am in control of my lifestyle. Those 2 words, you start using the I am in a positive, in a present tense, will start changing how you think about yourself. And anytime you have to pattern interrupt, meaning I'm too old to do this, pattern interrupt right away. Say, no, I am the ideal wage to start. Anytime you have a thing like I can't work out, pattern interrupt. You have to keep pattern interrupt because those old patterns, those old mind patterns, those neural patterns keep coming around, and they're sabotaging you. You have to interrupt them as soon as they hit. It's called pattern interrupting. So as soon as you say something negative about yourself, interrupt it right away. And what happens is that those neurons that are connected in the brain, all those neurons that are connected for long-term connections of the brain that have been holding it, you keep saying those I ams, they start to break away, and new neurons start to control. New neurons little clusters start to happen. When those new clusters start to happen, those more empowering clusters, those more things of I can do this, I am, that's where your mind starts to go. And then pretty soon, that's all you start thinking. Then all of a sudden your mind is always, I am. No, I can do this. I am doing this. I am there. And then you start doing. That's really the fastest way right now is change the way you think. Change the way you think about yourself. Change when you look in the mirror. Don't even look at what you see. Say, no, I am. And just keep pattern interrupt the visuals, pattern interrupt the oral, pattern interrupt everything you hear. Don't listen to society. Please don't listen to society when they say you're too old to this, to this. Tell them, no, that's your world. That's what you see. And I'm sorry you see that world that way, but that's not how I see my world. I'll be 100 still banging away. So just, people don't think I'm 60. When I'm in the gym training, they don't, you're not 60. I go, yeah, I'm 60, man. Here, a quick story how the mindset, is that okay?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the gym. This is probably about 5-6 years ago, so I'm about 55, 56, somewhere around there. I'm in the gym, and I've been going to this one gym for a while, for a couple of years at that time. I switch gyms all the time. I switch atmosphere, switch gyms. So I'm in the gym, and this kid comes up to me. He's probably about 17, 18 years old, and he comes up. He knows who I am. He knows exactly how old I am. He watches me train. He's watching me train people. He comes up to me and he says, how can I get in the best shape of my life by the time I'm 24? And I'm laughing at the kid. I'm having fun with him. I'm going, why, you got a date that night or something? You're funny. Why? He says, well, I have to get in the best shape by I'm 24 because after that, it's all downhill, right? And I'm going, what are you talking about? It's all downhill. He goes, well, my dad told me. He said, my dad told me after 24, he just went downhill, and now he's 40-something, and he's like overweight, just lays on the couch. He's sore all the time. He can't get up. So at 24, it's over. And this is how powerful this is, because I'm looking at the kid, and I'm going, you know who I am, right? He goes, you know how old I am, right? He goes, yeah. I go, so do you see me on the couch? Do you see me like laying in pain? Do you see that I've given up? Do you see that it's over? He goes, oh, that doesn't matter because my dad said, do you see what I'm saying? Someone in a higher authority or someone that he felt in self-esteem, someone that he looked up to has told him that. And no matter what, I'm standing right in front of him, Adam, like standing in the gym right in front of him. And he couldn't even look past that to what his dad said to him that was so strong in his psyche that at 24, it's over.
Wow.
And that's how strong it is when you listen to someone in authority or listen to someone that you've held in esteem, someone like a parent or a teacher. That's how strong it is that his visual couldn't even concept the idea that here's a guy in front of him, 55, in amazing condition, still banging with doing stuff these guys couldn't even dream of doing. And yet he's still at 24, it's over. And he walks away, he goes, well, I guess I'll figure out something about 24, it's over. And he's all sad. And I just shook my head. I go, wow, I just witnessed how powerful it really is, how absolutely powerful it is. And I really, if that kid's out there, I hope he's changed his mind by now or someone somehow changed his mind. But if he goes home and he tells his dad what I told him, his dad said, well, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. At 24, it's over. It's over for him.
Yeah.
It's already over for him.
Yeah.
And that's how sad it is, but that's how powerful it is. That's how unbelievably powerful the belief system is.
Yeah, I love the quote by Tony Robbins, if you can change your story, you can change your life. And that kid needs to change his story that he's telling himself.
Change the story, yeah. You go right back and start changing your story. You go right back, no matter what happened, childhood, whatever, go back and change your story. Yeah. Your mind doesn't know any different, so lie to yourself. Change your story. Yeah.
Well, Maarten, man, I appreciate your time, man. I love grabbing people like you and getting you on the show because you have so much experience. And I feel like I can learn from you and my audience can learn from you. And it's something that I know you're super busy. You're getting ready to go and help some more people there in your hometown. But I just want to say thank you for spending some time with us. And you're making a difference with this it's the largest segment of our population right now. It's needed. And I feel like your message needs to get out there. And I'm really, really proud that we're going to help you get that out there. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me on, Adam. It was a blast. We'll have to do this again.
Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. we just hit the tip on this one. I think. We'll go deeper.
So much. Yeah.
We'll go
Sounds
deeper.
Good, my friend.
All right, everybody. So now you've got your action step. You change your story. You change your life. Start changing the way you talk to yourself. Whether you're a boomer or whether you're that 17-year-old kid, think about how we are talking to ourselves and get into action, because that, my friends, is how we get out there. That's how we own it. Every meal, every workout, every day. And I will see you on the next episode. Hey, thank you for sticking around after the episode. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Maarten. What a cool dude, right? I mean, what a great perspective on life. Such a motivational individual. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of that one as well. As I mentioned before the show, we are getting ready to open registration this week. This Thursday, November 1st, we are opening registration for the Transformation Reboot Program. If you guys got in on our early bird list on the website, then that registration will actually open up today. So you get a little jump on signing up for all the mini mastermind chat sessions and things like that. So good for you. But everybody else, if you didn't get in on that, Thursday, November 1st through Thursday, November 8th, registration will be open. If you struggle with the holiday season, and I'm not talking about we don't need to do something that you are going to lose a ton of weight during the holiday season, but if you just normally just crash and burn and gain and give up and say, screw it, I'm going to start again in January, you need to take a peek at this, because this could be the ticket to your escape from what I call the black hole of fitness doom. And it's going to be worth taking 30 seconds to go to millionpoundmission.com and check out the Transformation Reboot Program. You will not be disappointed. Hope to see you inside that welcome video when you sign up. And either way, I am here to support you, and we're going to ramp it up during the holiday season. So just get ready.